Welcome to the Preeminence Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Matthew J. Peters, founder of Ascend. Be sure to grab your ultimate guide to preeminence at preeminence.tv. Today we're talking about building a preeminent brand, part 1 of 3. So tune in, listen up, and get ready to take a focused action on your mission, message, and presence, and create accelerated results toward preeminence right now. I want to take the opportunity to do something that Gary Vaynerchuk does. If you're not listening to Gary V or the Daily V, go ahead and check out that podcast. Amazing, amazing guy. And one of the things he does is he has short podcasts, and sometimes he has some longer podcasts. And those podcasts are events that he spoke at for tens of thousands of dollars, specifically for that company or that organization. And then he also provides it for free on his podcast. So I'm going to do the same here. I was interviewed for the Chiropractic Success Summit because I work with chiropractors on their marketing, and this applies to everyone who is a solopreneur, who is a business owner, who wants to create a legacy, who wants to create a preeminent brand. This training is for you. This is one of the parts. This is part 1 of 3 parts. Go ahead and take a listen to it. And I'd love to know what you think. If you like this, go ahead and subscribe or share this with someone else you think would get a lot of value from this. Here we go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Chiropractic Success Summit. I am your host, Dr. Mike Headlee, and you're in for a very special treat. We have a multi-talented interviewee coming up, and here's just a snippet of what he's accomplished because we want to dive right into his great content today. He's an Academy Award winner and 2-time Amazon best-selling author, and that is Matthew Peters. He trains business owners on how to attract the top 10% of the markets with strategy, video, new media, printed books, and magazines. His clients learn how to amplify their know, like, and trust authority powerful and with integrity. Authority allows the individual entrepreneur to expand their reach, exposing their products and service to worldwide markets. Matthew's formal background in filmmaking and intuition for client attraction position him as the go-to person for entrepreneurs ready for massive visibility. In addition to his skills in film and marketing, Matthew is an avid blogger, published author, and has been featured on dozens of business blogs, podcasts, and in international magazines. Matthew's missions of creating legacies that elevate humanity to an even more brilliant place is reflected in the work he does with his clients as well as in the way he lives his life. When he's not creating or working with clients, you can find Matthew investing time in his family, working on his upcoming documentary film, The United State of Mind, writing music, working on his next screenplay, and enjoying the simple pleasures of coastal life. Welcome, Matthew.
Thanks so much for having me on, Mike.
And you're welcome. And you have accomplished so much in your young career. So I'm just curious, I ask all the interviewees, what drives you to accomplish so much?
I just know that so much is possible, and we live in such an amazing time where just with video, I know that about 15 years ago, actually 24 years ago when I started in video, you had to have a multi-million-dollar studio. You had to buy time on TV. It was extremely expensive to hire crews. And in about 2010, the iPhone came out with an HD camera with editing capability and uploading to YouTube, and it changed the game. And people don't understand this, but smartphones have basically made a lot of things obsolete. Now it's not competing who has the best equipment or the best team. It's a competition of ideas. And so now it's like, how can I have the most, I call it brilliant ideas of creating something amazing in the world. And now we all have access to it. If you have access to a smartphone, you really don't have any excuse of not creating something brilliant.
That's awesome. And very affordable. Mm-hmm. So thank you for that. Since you aren't a chiropractor, I'm curious your chiropractic story, how you got involved with the workings with chiropractors. Tell us a little bit about that.
So it started actually with a screening in a mall. My wife was having some headaches, and so she went to the screening, came into the clinic, and within a few weeks with adjustments, she actually stopped having headaches. And they said, well, bring your family in. Let's check them all out. Well, we were about to have surgery on my son's stomach because he couldn't keep any solid foods down. He was about a year and a half old. And we went to see Dr. Emmett Blahnik, who was out of Madison, Wisconsin at the time. And he said, do you mind if I see your son? I was like, don't touch my son. It's like, you're going to screw him up. He's not going to be able to walk or something like that. I had no idea anything about chiropractic.
Sure.
And so he said, I won't do any adjustment. I just want to feel. So he just rubs his hand over the back of his spine. He said, has he fallen? I said, yeah, he did fall off the counter when he was 11 months old. And I didn't put two and two together that at that point, something happened with the connection to his stomach where his the sphincter muscle in his stomach was not allowing food through. So we just were loading him up on Pediasure and a Duo-Cal to add calories. So he's basically on a sugar drink all the time. And we went to see 9 different doctors, and the last one said we need to do surgery to open this up permanently, and he'll just be on like a Zantac the rest of his life.
Wow. And
it was right then that he said, I just want to do an adjustment. It's like, okay. So he just holds him up and does this pop thing. Says, there you go, buddy. Sends him off. And I remember it was like a few weeks later, he was eating Cheerios and he was able to keep him down. I'm like, so we stopped anything that because we call our doctor and says, put this surgery on hold. And sure enough, he was able to keep food down. He went from being in the top 4% of his weight for infants to down to the lowest 2%. He was just this little skinny baby, and we were really scared about it. So that is what then brought me into the clinic and working with Emmett and just seeing the amazing things. Like I was there and a man regained his hearing after like 12 years. And I was like, wait, no, this isn't possible. And so he said, hey, I know you do videos. Could you help me do some videos? And it was about a year and a half of working with him, developing his clinic. And then he was now working with other amazing doctors. And I was able to see this practice flourish and just we changed our lifestyle, our eating habits, and we were just turned on to so many different things that we didn't know about our health and about our environment. And so it was just a real awakening for me.
That's a really awesome story. Thank you for sharing that. It's very personal. And now it's exciting that you can help us get our message out to more people with marketing that we're going to dive into and some specifics in a minute. I would like to ask you the quick five questions I usually reserve for the end of the interview. I want to get these in right away, and then we're going to talk about your expertise. So,
okay.
Matthew, what's the best advice you've ever been given?
Best advice I've ever been given. I think it's that you have the ability to do it. If you can't see yourself doing it, it's not going to be possible for you. I think it was Henry Ford said, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. I didn't realize that my limitations were my own thinking.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. How do you define success?
I take it a step beyond financial and career success to fulfillment. The thing that I'm doing every day is also fulfilling what I want to create as my legacy. And I read a book title. I didn't read the book, but the book title stood out to me. It said, "Being dead is no excuse." And I realized so many men and women in our history have actually amplified the change they're creating in the world after they're gone because of how they lived their life and how they set up their legacy.
Great. That's profound. What is your number one success habit that served you well over your career?
My morning routine.
Any hints on that? Just a couple snippets out of there that you want to share?
Yeah, I try to hit everything. So I do, even if it's 5 minutes of yoga, drinking water in the morning. I have bulletproof coffee. That's my thing. And, going for a walk, sweating every morning, meditating, just being quiet if it's 5, 10, or 20 minutes, depending on what my day allows. And just that's my start every day. Otherwise, and I'm up before everyone else. That's like, it doesn't matter where we are, I'm up before everybody else. So that's, awesome. Yes, my start of my day.
Awesome. Great habit. Thank you. What are you most proud of, Matthew?
I think my growth, I was living in what I call a box for almost 40 years. And then I just started learning about so many different things in life. I just realized how fascinating life is and how fascinating our world is and history. And the thing I'm most proud of is just being able to look back at a year ago and just like, wow, what a change. And
cool.
So
really cool. And have you ever thought about how you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered as someone who helped people get their messages out. I don't need to be the one that is, has the spotlight on them. I want to be the one that took people wherever their platform was and helped them get beautiful messages that are going to have positive changes in the world out to more people. That's how I like to be remembered.
Cool. That's very cool. So you're kind of a director instead of the main actor of the...
Yeah. And I want to speak to that because one of the things is people don't want to be on camera. And I was always behind the camera. And even with our documentary film, I made the decision that now I'm going to be on camera for the documentary. I was like, I don't want to be on TV. I don't want to. And one of the things is if you're a chiropractor, it's much easier to now be the personality than it is to hire it out or be a faceless business. So yeah, I did take the step to say, all right, I'm willing to be the face of this company. So yeah, director and then also the personality.
Awesome. That kind of segues into identity. And let's have you touch on the identity of ourselves, our practice, our business. So what can you help us as chiropractors and teams, since staff will be watching this too, what's broken about chiropractic's identity and chiropractors' identity? What have you seen out there that we need to work on?
For chiropractors who love what they do, I know a lot of them they're this driving personality and they have idea after idea after idea. And what happens, they go really wide. And when you're not focused, it's just like a floodlight. But what we need to do is have this laser beam focus and saying, here is who I am. I'm going to stand on this. Now, there's a couple ways you can do that. You can be seen as the reporter, a person who finds health information and filters it down and provides it on their website, makes videos saying, hey, so-and-so has this video here. I'm going to share this information that I filtered and I put my stamp of approval on as a doctor. The other one is saying, I'm going to be the expert. I'm choosing to say, you know what? I am good enough. I am enough to be an expert. I know more in this area than other people, and I know I can help people in this area. It doesn't mean that you have to know everything. It doesn't mean that you have to have been in chiropractic for 30 years to now be able to have earned the right. If you're doing it yourself, if you're doing it in your practice, you're getting results consistently, you've earned the right. You've earned the moral authority to stand on it and say, here's what is right. And the more you do that, the more you know who you are, the more conviction you'll have for what you do. And that conviction is going to fuel you for anything you need to do. So what I see happen too much in clinics is they're working in their business all the time. They go to a seminar, they go to a summit online and they have all this information, say, hey, everybody do this. We're now going to do this. We're going to do that. And then they move on to the next thing. And it's more of like, they have these ideas and then they manage people instead of actually leading people, saying, here's what I'm doing. Here's how we're going to do it. I've mapped it out and here's how it's going to fit into our schedule. Here's how we're going to change what we're doing here to this new thing. And I'm going to help you through it. But if you don't know who you are and you're just going to say, some great guys out there, Dr. Josh Axe, Dr. David Jockers, Dr. Mercola, those are, it's like, we're going to do it like this. We're going to start selling these supplements. We're going to start having our own white label brand. We're going to blog every day. And it's just, your staff is going to, their mind's going to blow up because there's no capacity for them to do that. But when you choose who you're going to be seen as, it's the most powerful thing you can do in your business, because now you have the opportunity to stand out from all the noise out there, because people want to see you, they want to see real, and they want to see authentic. So
What I see in the groups I'm in is I'm in a smaller town, people come in with kids, people come in with low back pain, people come in with stomach issues, etc. So we kind of see everything, even though it's still pure chiropractic. And the challenges with my peers is they feel like they can't niche it down enough, because if I'm just the headache doctor, so to speak, I feel like no one will ever come see me for low back pain and all sports injuries and all those other things. They feel like they want to be everything to everybody so they can see everybody. But you're saying that's not what we should do. We should find out what we're expert in and focus on that. Is that correct?
I want to stay away from the should, because I would really need to know what people's goals were, and because there's a lot of general practitioners of medicine everywhere that do very well, and they help hundreds and thousands of people over their career. One of the things I would say, though, as you're doing the business day to day, what are you most passionate about? Like if you're like, some people are really big into the keto diet, and they're doing it themselves. They're seeing the results, and they say, hey, I'm doing this thing. I've collected this research. Now I'm going to do this in my clinic. And then they're living it. They love it. They're getting results. That's driving them. And now they're sharing it. That's very different than a lot of people who I see. And it's not just chiropractors. It's like, here's what's hot. Here's what's hot this month. Last month it was, weight loss, or this month it's going to be keto, or whatever it is. What is it you're passionate about? And keep hammering away at it. And over time, people are going to see you're consistent. They're going to see your growth. You're going to create a body of work around something that now you have the platform as an authority that people are going to ask you to interview you, that you're going to now have a stand on something that is unique, instead of saying, I'm all things to all people.
Yeah, that helps out a lot. Thank you. And then let's talk about authority branding, because I don't know if you can see behind me, chiropractors are famous for going to the seminar and getting the information. Oh, let's buy this poster. This looks really cool. It doesn't really fit in with, what I'm doing in my office, but I really like the poster. So we just throw it on the wall, and people get mixed messages. Is this just the spine clinic? And then some people have no health information. It's like an art gallery in there. So let's just talk about authority branding.
Well, I think that, say authority branding really comes down to identity. And as the doctor in the office, let's say you are the leader, you need to know who you are. You need to know your identity. And that comes down to the MVP, or your mission, vision, and purpose. If you don't know what your purpose is, it's going to be reflected in all of your communication. Let's talk about your vision. If you don't have a vision, you're going to be floundering. But when you have a vision saying, hey, everybody, here's where I've chosen to go. This is where we're going to be in 5 years, and in 10 years, and in 20 years. And when I'm gone 50, 100 years from now, this is what we have had. This is what we've created. When you get to that point, now people, when they hear you talking, there's so much conviction that you've lived there. You know what you're creating. That is going to change all of your communication in the today, because you've casted that vision in your clinic, but also everyone who knows that walks through your doors knows what the vision, knows where you're going. They know what your mission is. Our mission is to blank, and make it a positive thing, not to stop cancer, whatever. It's like, no, it's what is the positive thing. And so your authority branding really comes down with identity. What's my mission? What's my vision? What's my purpose? Simon Sinek says, what's my why? If you don't have a why, you're just going into the clinic every day because you have bills to pay, or you want to be like somebody else, and you haven't really put that stake in the concrete and nailed it in there. Some people say draw a line in the sand. It's like you just move that. But if you're putting your stake in the concrete and saying, this is who I am, that can be scary at first, but now it becomes that thing that you're all about. And it does become like there's a security in that, knowing who you are.
This daily podcast is all about you becoming the preeminent voice in your marketplace. So take the consistent and necessary action each and every day on what you've learned over the last few minutes. When you're ready to take your business, your organization, your name, your brand, and your commitment to the level of preeminence, head on over to preeminence.tv, where you can download your own copy of the Ultimate Guide to Preeminence. Enroll in the Elevation program and join us on one of our next live events. If you're not subscribed, simply visit iTunes, Stitcher, or Google Play right now and click subscribe. Until tomorrow, make today and each and every day count towards creating preeminence in your space and a legacy that matters.